This is Seth Beamer, and you're listening to the Pivot Points Music Cast on Fader. Pivot Points dissects the lives of artists at their most crucial intersections, investigating the trials of this insane career and how they are overcome. These are the stories of the crossroads that, for better or worse, shape us all into the people, friends, and musicians we're meant to be. Today on the podcast, I'm joined by Pat Faherty, founding member of the band GA20 and a seasoned guitarist whose roots run deep in the blues. We met here in Nashville while he was passing through on the road and caught up over dinner with a mutual friend. Pat's played on some of the biggest blues stages in the country, touring extensively with his band, Canyon Lights, a blues outfit with grit, soul, and killer tone. But Pat's story doesn't stop there. He's dipped into a variety of genres over the years, and who knows, we might even explore some of those chapters too. I'm really excited to dig into his journey, his playing, and the path that's brought him here. But first, let's listen to a song of his. Currently, the #1 most played on the Canyon Lights Spotify list. Released earlier this year and already amassing nearly 20,000 streams. This is Breathe Easy. Thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me, man. Good to see you again.
It's so good to see you, and back here in good old Nashville, dude. Talk to me about what you're up to right now. I think we were saying you're not on a tour, but you're doing a one-off. What are you up to?
Yeah, I'm playing in it's called Canal, Winchester, Ohio. It's just outside of Columbus. I played there last year with the old band, and the lady asked me to do it this year. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Nice, man. And then you just love to get down to Nashville on a regular basis, right?
Yeah. I love it here. I've got some really good friends here, and they're all very supportive. So
I think the last time we talked, you were considering making the move.
I'm planning on moving here. Yeah.
Is it official? Are you still?
I don't have a place yet, but
yeah.
I'm talking to a couple people. Hopefully by November.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be good to have you here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. You know, I've only lived in the city of Boston my whole life, so it'll be a big change for an East Coast guy. But
that's crazy. Is Boston a blues city, would you say?
Boston's an everything city.
Okay.
Providence had more of a storied blues scene if you look into like the Duke Robillard and the Roomful of Blues. Like the story, I think, is that, you know, the Vaughn brothers, like Jimmy Vaughn and Stevie Ray, would come up to Providence and be like, "What are you guys doing playing Texas blues?"
Really?
Yeah, I don't know the full story on that, but yeah, Providence had this, you know, real blues scene in the 70s and 80s, I think.
Okay.
Boston, because of its, you know, it's a college city, not as much anymore. The music scene is not the same as it was. You know, a lot of clubs are closing. They keep building like a new 5,000 seater venue like every 6 months, but a lot of the smaller clubs are going out. But yeah, you could find everything in Boston just because it has all the influxes of people.
And so you grew up in Boston. That's the only city you lived in. Growing up in Boston, what was the kind of music you were experiencing there, and how did you even get into that music scene?
Man, I mean, when you were little, right, you just kind of listened to what your parents had, right? So,
yeah,
you know, my mom would always have I think it was 103.3, the oldies station.
Okay.
So what's that? Yeah, like all the old 50s and early 60s stuff. And then, you know, my dad was big into like Jefferson Airplane and Canned Heat and Quicksilver Messenger Service, right? I know he had Van Halen 1 on vinyl, but I didn't appreciate it at the time. And then, you know, you get into like radio rock. So in the 90s, you know, you had like Third Eye Blind and Everclear and
oh, hell yeah.
Santa Monica was the first song I ever learned on guitar.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah. And then, you know, when I was like 12, 13, I was at Latin school, and I met this punk kid.
Okay.
And, you know, you're 12 and you're like, that guy's cool. I want to. So, you know, he makes you a mixtape, like an actual mixtape, you know, and then that it's all downhill from there, right?
Yeah, so, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's how I got into like Boston punk. And then, you know, I'm 13, I start going to shows and yeah. Yeah.
And did you start like playing in the scene then in your teens, or what? How did that happen?
I was in just like a high school band, 'cause I went to an arts high school for music, so I was
Nice.
doing all the playing in there. But I had like a little punk band in the high school, but we never played out
Sure.
playing shows.
Do you feel like that really set you up though for the rest of your life? Was that a good experience for you going to an art school?
It's a complicated question and answer, because there's a lot of things about music school in general that I think are killing music as a whole. But the fact that I was in rooms playing with, other kids, and then I was in a big band, and then I was playing like Rufus and Shaka Khan in an R&B ensemble, and then I was also, learning Wes Montgomery and Pat Martino solos, trying to play standards. Now, I was not taught them correctly, but, I still had that.
Were any of us taught them correctly? I don't know.
No, and but that's one of the things about music school that really bugs me, because they reduce that stuff down from the actual sounds, and then they put it through their own synthetic mathematical system that they decided was correct.
Yeah.
And then they say that that's how you play music, but it's not what the person was doing or thinking or hearing at all.
So how is that kind of connected to your breakaway from maybe punk and that kind of more edgy guitar and going into blues? I feel like blues is very, like when I think of blues, great blues players, it's such a spiritual experience.
Yeah, I mean, I consider blues the original punk rock.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Punk rockers, you have to put on the uniform, and your act of rebellion is,
Sure.
A choice, really. And maybe for you consider it the only choice, but at the end of the day, like, it's your personality, and you've made the choice that that's the lifestyle you want to live. But original blues, I think, as we all know, just existing was rebellion
Yeah.
back then.
No one else was doing stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was, along racial lines and everything. So, yeah.
So was that kind of your rebellion against music school then, would you say?
No, how I got into blues was a totally different story. But
Yeah, let's hear it.
I got into, let's talk about music school a bit more.
Yeah.
The problem with any music school, and not necessarily the music school I went to, is that they put you in the shoulds. That's your state of mind, where you say, well, I'm playing this chord, so I should be playing these notes. I'm playing in this style, so I should do these chord progressions,
Totally.
And so it really does take out the impulse and the edge. It doesn't matter if it's punk rock or blues or hardcore. Every good player in any style of music has an impulsive edge to their playing.
Okay.
Even classical music.
Yes.
Even that. There's an edge, and there's a sense of abandonment when they play. And the audience is going to respond to that way more than all your, cage system, metronome, proficiency practicing.
A sense of abandonment. I like that. I've never heard it like that.
Yeah. The guy that I forget his name. I think it's Bill Levitt. He was the guy that wrote all of those. He was the guy that taught a lot of the Berklee guitar teachers in the 70s. Okay. Now, this guy was not a jazz player to my knowledge, and he didn't. I think his claim to fame was he was a pit musician.
Okay.
Now, I studied under a guy that knew him personally.
Oh, okay.
And I was told that this guy said, yeah, George Benson and Wes Montgomery, they play the guitar real pretty, but they play it all wrong.
Whoa. And you're like, no, dude.
Well, that's kind of the point, right? It's the synthetic school system that says, we know what you meant to play, or like, we know what you're supposed to play.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter that you invented the sound. You did it wrong.
Well, until you go off and you become a world star, and then they'll say, hey, I always knew this kid was something,
Oh, dude, I've dealt with that.
Yeah. But that's how it goes, right? Of course.
Yeah.
Was this at Berklee? Did you do Berkeley as well?
I did, yeah. I went on a scholarship.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, 4 years, full ride.
Wow, good for you, man.
Well, that's one of the benefits of being a screwed up kid in Boston is,
yeah.
you know, you can be an at-risk youth and go into one of their programs and they'll pay for you to go.
Oh, well, that's, I mean, still what a privilege. And
yeah, without a doubt. I'm not putting that down. I think that's why I can talk more freely about music school, because I'm not financially invested in paying off my loans.
You don't feel like, oh, I have to make this mean something to me, you know?
That's always tough. Yeah, it's like the sunk cost fallacy, or something like that. But yeah.
No, I'm there in the boat where, you know, I've only just recently gotten to a place where I'm like, did I really need to do that music school? Did I need, you know, like probably not.
Well, I mean, it's the general state of higher education nowadays, right?
It is.
Everything costs way too much. It's not just music schools that cost way too much. It's just, you know,
education in general.
Yeah, but all the information is available to you. So I think we're at the moment where it's about to break, and you know, it might take 10 years, but I think, you know, a bunch of colleges are probably going to go out of business or have to downsize, and
sure.
And, you know, maybe we'll finally realize you don't need to go to college to have an education, right? I think people have the certificate on the wall and they look down on you if you don't have that. I know growing up, that's what was implied to me, that if you don't have that, you're less of a person.
Absolutely. Yeah, same.
But yeah, like, I think people need to understand that an education is not a piece of paper on the wall.
Yeah. Did you talk to me about just GA20 a bit, and how soon after Berkeley did that happen?
So after about 6 months after Berkeley, I was going through severe Berkeley burnout, which is very common. And then I was hit by a car. And
and you're alive to tell the tale.
Well, I mean, I went over the car. And I was in a sling for a few weeks and in a cane for a couple weeks.
Oh no!
And I just really stopped playing after that, and so my playing really took a nosedive.
Yeah.
And then I started, you know, coming back, and I was like, I couldn't do anything else, so I started, you know, playing again, and that's when I kind of met some people outside of the music school system that helped me kind of form my general opinions about music nowadays. And one of them, his name is Richie Hart. He studied under George Benson in the 70s before Benson put out Breezin', like in his bebop era or early 70s.
Yeah.
And he was one of the guys that, and no one, you know, I went to music school from 13 years old to 25.
Yeah.
And so, and this is, you know, early 2000s. So the internet is not what it was. Yep. So you didn't have access to all of that kind of information. And again, from 13 years old, you're in that kind of cult setting. And so you don't know that you don't know these things. And he was one of the ones that told me, you know, you're not a player in a genre unless you know the songs. You know, he said
the history and the songs.
Yeah. He said that he could sit in with any rock band, and people would tell him afterwards, like, dude, you're a great rock player. But he would say, I'm not a great rock player because I don't know any of the songs. I can just sit in and you know, vibe with the band, but I will never be a real rock player. And so,
and do you hold that true? Do you still hold that belief? Yeah.
Yeah. Look, there are people that, you know, I mean, the people who don't need to know a lot of songs and still sound great in that genre, that's what we call prodigies. You know, minimal exposure to the sound, but then you're outputting all of this crazy stuff. That's just what we call a prodigy.
Interesting.
So when he was telling me that, I was realizing that one of the things that I never had was playing outside of school concerts. So I started going to open mics, and one of them was a blues open mic, and it was ran by the guy that I co-founded GA20 with.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
And that's how you guys met.
yeah, that's how
But
we
and
met,
you went
yeah.
to this though having not much blues experience.
No, no.
And
And I was going there with the intention of like, can somebody write a song list for me so I can, study this and get serious?
because so you would the intention was I want to learn blues
Yeah.
because I want to be the blues player.
Well, I
My
want.
professor said.
Well, I want to respect the
Yeah.
genre, and I want to have that kind of repertoire, and to be able to start gigging so I can just play out more.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And from there, I mean, how long did it take you until you felt comfortable in that genre?
Oh, I still don't feel comfortable.
Oh, no way.
I don't think I'll ever feel comfortable.
Really?
Ever. It's part of my personality.
Well, it's also part of just what is it, imposter syndrome, right?
Oh yeah.
A little bit of that, probably.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I have that worse than anybody because it's true.
Yeah. I mean, every artist goes through that. That's for sure. So you meet this guy who's running the jam.
Yeah.
You guys form GA20.
Well, it was a number of years before
Okay.
GA20. At that time, I didn't play and sing at the same time.
Oh, okay.
I was in a Van Halen band and I was doing some backup vocals, but I was not playing and singing what I can now.
Gotcha.
That was not a natural progression. Like I couldn't naturally do that.
Gotcha. So that took some time.
Yeah. I remember the first time. It was because I was only playing guitar, but that meant I was always behind a singer, and the singers I ended up behind always called the same 3 songs. Meanwhile, I'm learning all these other songs, but I don't have a chance to play them.
Yeah.
And then I remember one time they said, "Oh, we need a singer. Pat, you sing something." And I go, okay."
And you just wong it.
I knew the song, right, but I never sang, and not for real. And they afterwards they're like, "No, you sound pretty good." So then it became this: I'm playing guitar and I'm singing, but on 2 different sets. And eventually I said, well, I need to be able to play the songs that I'm singing. So I guess I have to figure out how to play and sing at the same time. And I remember the first song I did that with was a Junior Wells song called Hoodoo Man Blues.
Okay.
And it took me 2 hours to get that first line down with the guitar.
Wow. But you sat there and did it.
Yeah, and it didn't feel musical after I did it too. That took probably about a year before like actually playing and singing it.
Oh, sure.
Felt like music because it felt like it's like this vertical.
Probably felt like school.
Yeah, it felt yeah.
Right? Yeah, it felt
Yeah.
like school. So then how soon after that you start GA20, and how quickly does that just start taking off for you guys?
No, it didn't. I mean, we were playing local gigs, and people were starting to come out. And that's when we started getting the common thing where like people our age would come up and they'd say like, "What kind of music is that? You guys sound great. What is that?" And I go, "That's blues." And they go, "What?"
They're like, "That's blues?
That's blues?" Like, man, I really like it, man. But yeah, they didn't know that we're a blues band.
Wow.
That's where our drummer at the time, Chris Anzalone, and he was saying too, we were at a rehearsal, and he goes, "Man, like I'm listening to all these old records again, man, and it just goes to show you, man, if you don't like blues, you're just listening to the wrong shit."
Yeah?
Yeah. Can I swear? Is that?
Dude, you can say whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck
No.
yeah.
Yeah. You did a tribute album, and we're kind of leading there.
Yeah.
Talk to me about just like the history of this band and why did you lead into this? Just talk to me about it.
About the Hound Dog album?
Yeah, the Hound Dog album. Yeah.
So we stared in like,
How many records deep are you in? How many records do you guys have together?
we had two original studios, Hound Dog. We had a live album, and then there's one that never came out. It was an acoustic thing.
Sure.
But
yeah. Quite a bit of material then.
Yeah. And so we started in, like October 2017, and then I think the second label that our album was sent to was Coal Mine Records in Ohio,
Okay.
and they signed us, and we put out Lonely Soul in 2019, and that, you know, made some waves. I think that was number 2 on the Billboard Blues charts. And then, and one of the reasons is that Charlie Musselwhite and Luther Dickinson guested on the first single called Naggin' on My Mind.
Okay.
And so
it kind of helped out your
clout.
clout.
Yeah, it definitely helped, right? Just, it's all about who you know, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So, and then, we started touring, and then, you know, just like everyone else, COVID happened.
Yeah.
And we, you know, were at home. Now, at the time, I didn't play slide guitar. I took one slide class with Dave Tronzo at Berkeley, and that was actually a great class.
Oh, great.
So
were you playing blues in that class then with the slide? Not even then.
No,
not even then.
No, not even then. I think the final project, I took like an Earth, Wind and Fire solo and converted it to slide. But after that, I didn't do any slide. I actually completely forgot how to play slide. So when I say this next part, it's 100% true that the other guy in the band, he was, you know, we played Chicago in 2019, right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And Bruce Iglauer of Alligator Records came out.
Okay.
Now, Bruce turned us down because he said that we were too raw at first.
Interesting.
and so, which is weird because he started the record label for Hound Dog Taylor. And if you listen to Hound Dog Taylor, it is some of the rawest shit I've ever, you know, heard in my life.
Wow.
But what happened was after Chicago, he, you know, reached out and kind of wanted to sign us, but we were already on Coal Mine. And, but then the other guy got an idea, and he worked out that, it was the 50th anniversary of Hound Dog's first album coming up.
Okay.
So he got the idea that we could do a Hound Dog tribute record and co-release it with Alligator and Coal Mine.
Oh, cool.
And then, so he got the call, he called me, and he said, okay, yeah, so you need to learn how to play slide in about 8 weeks because we're going to have a recording session.
And good luck.
Dude.
8 weeks though, that's some time. That for slide, those slides tough, man.
It's
that's its own bag.
Well, that's kind of one of the things that I think made, and I mean this wholeheartedly, one of the reasons I sound as close to Hound Dog as I have is because I only had 8 weeks to learn how to play it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of subtle extra sounds that a lot of the super clean slide players don't have.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so, and I wasn't super clean, and then I introduced the dirt and the slop.
So you're just Mud City.
It's just what it is. And I think part of the energy that I have on stage when I do that stuff is from me panicking.
Yeah. But there's a charm to it, right?
Right. And so I think I mentioned earlier about, you know, being stuck in the shoulds when you're in that music school system. But, you know, every time you have to check to make sure something is correct.
Yeah.
The way I visualize it, it's like a coil in your brain that the signal has to travel through. And so the more things you have to check, it kind of dulls the signal just a little bit.
Yeah.
And so what you play does sound like music, right? But I think the audience picks up on the
disconnect,
on the checklist that you ran in your head before each note. And that happens like in a nanosecond. But that's what I feel about music in general. Meanwhile, so I only learned Hound Dog Taylor, and I only learned these, like, you know, 2 or 3 slide things.
Yeah.
And so if I had to theorize, it's that I didn't have a bunch of coils that I had to send a signal through before the sound came out.
Well,
so,
luckily you're learning a part. That was probably the blessing too.
Oh yeah.
Learning a part. You're not learning how to be a slide player as much as I'm learning how to play this. It's like being a kid learning a song at Guitar Center in lessons, and like they're learning how to press buttons is what they're doing.
Well, unfortunately, yes, if they don't have a musical ear, they're being taught music by numbers.
Yeah,
they're being taught paint by numbers,
which is fine, you know. But especially in your instance, where it's like, I need to get ready for this freaking record. Let's learn how to do this.
So
you know,
I'm not a fan of that kind of teaching. And
sure, yeah.
So my thing about why I was able to get the hound dog thing was because I was only hearing the sound, and I was just absorbing the sound and putting the sound on the instrument. And part of the number system, like I'm saying paint by numbers or music by numbers, that's part of the checklist that dulls the signal between the brain and the audience.
So then question for you, when you were learning, did you learn 100% by ear, or did you have assets online that helped you learn?
What, hound dog?
Yeah.
Ear. All ear.
All ear.
Yeah,
Very impressive then.
There were a couple things where I wasn't sure where he played it, so I was able to find like 2 or 3 live clips and figure out where he played it. But I had already had the sound in my ear.
But you're not looking up any tabs or other tutorials.
Fuck no.
Or I don't know.
Fuck no.
Hey, you never know.
No. But that's it always amazes me when
Fuck no.
no, I mean, but that's kind of the visceral reaction I have with music education nowadays, because they don't trust that like the people who have it, when they say you either have it or you don't, it's a fucking lie. It's totally a lie. You either have the software pre-programmed or you have to install it. But it's only 2 skills. You only need 2 skills to have it. And it sounds very vague, but you just have to hear music going left to right, and you need to hear music going up and down. And that's it. That's it. Now, it can get very nuanced. The vocabulary you can have can get crazy, and then you can have some names for things to get you through the gig. But being able to clap to a song and to vocalize the rhythm while you're doing that, that's step 1. That's the left to right. And then, man, when I was teaching, or I still teach, but this was nuts. So I had this one kid, and she was doing the rhythms, right? And she was singing while doing the rhythms, and her pitches matched perfectly to the song. And I thought, this is great. She can figure out the notes.
Yep.
And then I said, can you figure out some of the notes? And it was just this like jumping back and forth, total guessing, no idea.
Oh, interesting.
And I don't remember the pitches, but she was like low, high. And eventually I just went, can't you hear that it's going up? Because she kept like going random places. And she goes, no.
So how did she hear the melody in the first place then?
That's everyone can sing, but almost no one, maybe not almost, but knows whether their voice went up or down or stays the same.
That's wild, man.
And so everyone can sing Happy Birthday.
Yep.
Now they're not on pitch.
Yeah, sure.
They might go like, happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Right. But they're not going, happy birthday to you. Right. They're not doing that. They're singing the direction of the pitches. But if you have them hold their hand out and say, can you follow the pitch? They always do this. Happy.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and when I figured that out, like my brain exploded. And so when I teach people, it's all, can you hear the pulse in a song, which is a whole other curriculum I have.
Yeah.
But then can you hear when you're singing it, you most likely are singing it totally correctly, but can you tell me if the pitches are going up and down? And I've had people that you would consider tone deaf if you heard them try to play, right? Or they would say you have no hope. And I mean, I've had students that were handed off to me, and after they played like a student concert, some coworkers would come up and go, what the hell did you do with that kid?
Wow.
Like, how the hell did you do that?
So you're tapping into it. It sounds like you figured out the up and down and left to right and how to tap into a person and show them the way.
Yeah, I'd hope so. I mean, that's one of the
cool.
That's again, so I have that visceral reaction to the shoulds of music education. And so I always want to be teaching somebody, especially if somebody really wants to play, but they feel like they've been stuck for a number of years, or if they don't have a good foundation, like, call me.
Is that how you teach then, is a lot by ear? You're just totally like...
Look, there are theoretical things that can help you. I mean, I don't consider it theory as much as it's literacy. You know, I don't say like, you don't have to read English, man. It's just holding back your creativity, right? You do need to be able to read and know how to spell things, right? But we're not spelling the words that we're speaking to each other.
Totally.
We're not checking to make sure the letters are all correct. We're just saying it. And then if you played it back and asked, can you write it down? You would know how to do it and know how to spell it. So until whatever student I have, until they can come to me and say, I have figured out this song by ear, and they play it relatively well. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know. Until then, I won't really do any theory.
All right.
Because they need that foundation of the first thing that they're doing with their brain when they listen to music is just taking in the pure sound and then recreating it. And then on the other side of the brain, if they had to listen back and say what the chord names are,
then they can dissect.
Then they could go into it. But the idea that you need to, you know, mentally go through a chord name before you can play it. To like, I only know how to play this chord because I know it's a C6. That to me is damaging.
Yeah. How about this? Have you, since learning Hound Dog, have you taught it?
I can teach the vibrato. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
I can teach the vibrato. I can teach slide. Not many people have asked though, because you know, Hound Dog is not known for being such a.
I'm just curious. You know,
Hound
since we
Dog
were
is
talking
not
about it.
Yeah, Hound Dog is not a Derek Trucks, so you know, no one comes to me for Derek Trucks slide advice. But if anyone wants to know, I can teach that vibrato to people.
Let's go.
Well, I'm not saying it on camera.
Yeah. So let's listen to a song, man.
Sure.
Which one did you want to listen to off there?
Off the Hound Dog?
Yeah.
Let's do She's Gone.
She's Gone, man. This is it. This is She's Gone by GA20, actually. I want to talk a little bit more about your history in getting into the blues, because you sent me some stuff before, like, to my surprise, not only just like one band, you've sent me 3 bands, and then you said you have even more of this just completely different genre, and I did not see that coming, because you know, when I think about blues players, I think about guys who have just grown up in it, and because I know guys like AJ Fullerton is our good friend, and Nick Clark, and these kinds of guys who just, they've done it for their whole lives. You know, they've just lived in the blues. You have had a whole life of music behind you, and talk to me about where did this come from? Of, in particular, the heavy metal stuff, man. I mean, when did you start getting into that?
You know, there was a band that practiced down the street from where I lived in Boston, Hyde Park, and I met them. We were same age, right? So we were hanging out, and that's kind of how I got into a lot of the heavier metal. They were more into like the southern metal, Pantera, Black Label Society, Down, you know, real into that. But also at music school, so at the time I was in high school with 3 gentlemen. Anthony Buddha, who is my oldest friend. He's a guy that I met at Latin school. He was not the punk rock guy that gave me the mixtape, but we hit it off because we were both, you know, little 13-year-old punk rockers running around like, you know, Newbury Street and Copley Square and the Pit and all that. But so Anthony Buddha, Phil Dubois, and Dave Davidson. And they started a band called Cryptic Warning that eventually became this band Revocation.
Let's go.
And
dude.
Revocation is I don't know if, I mean, they're a big band right now, but that wasn't how I got into metal, but that got me into a lot of bands that I wouldn't have known otherwise, like this band Martyr out of Montreal. That's a crazy, like Dan Mongrain on guitar. If you want to talk about that, check out the album Warp Zone. That's my favorite. And then you know, like Annihilator, Exorder was also a huge band for me. Forced Entry, and you know, like the classic like Anthrax, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Exodus, any of the thrash bands. And locally, at the time, you also had bands like Random Acts of Violence. They were a great thrash band. You had Bones Brigade, which were one of those first kind of early 2000s skate thrash bands.
Okay.
Pre MySpace.
Bones Brigade?
Bones Brigade, yeah. That was
Love that name.
That was an old skateboarding crew, I think, in California, and they just took the name for the band.
Cool.
But yeah, but like Bones Brigade, and Municipal Waste was also coming up at the time. And one of my old bands actually opened for Municipal Waste at a VFW.
Oh, cool.
In Cambridge. Yeah, back in like 2006.
At the VFW, baby.
Oh,
Let's go.
Dude, if I could pack a VFW every day for, I would just do that. Because it's so loose and fun.
We've all toured those venues, man. They're fun. They are fun.
Oh, dude, I played a sewer one time.
You played a sewer?
Yeah, in San Diego.
Is this with the metal band?
No, this is with my first punk band.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still along the lines then.
Oh, yeah. This was like 2008
fitting
or something. San Diego had those big. They have like the giant tunnel sewers, and they'll drain them out certain times of the year. And so we ended up playing for like 300 kids.
Wow.
In a sewer, and we all just parked on the side of the highway. It was like the I-5 or something, and we just, brought they had like a generator and
iconic, dude.
Yeah.
You know what? Before social media, which is a bummer, because wouldn't you like to see the videos
it was
from that?
Like Facebook and MySpace, but it's not what it is today.
But people didn't have their phones out and they're taking video.
No iPhones.
Man, that would have been something to see. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, no iPhones.
Do you feel like all of that influence of heavy metal and punk and, I mean, more specifically the metal, are you still using some of that stuff in your playing now? Or have you let some of that go?
That is every now and then I'll pick up the guitar and I'll come up with like a sick, metal, hardcore riff that I, and I'll put it on a voice memo and save it for never.
But, okay, yeah.
But in terms of,
but just even influencing the fingers and the decision making, do you feel like it's influenced that?
I'm going to sound pompous as hell when I say this, but I think that it's just a part of me, that impulse. So if it comes out in metal, it comes out in metal. And if it comes out in rock, if it comes out in blues, it's just what it is.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Pat is Pat. Right? It doesn't matter what genre it is.
Allegedly, I'm Pat. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Well, let's listen to, pretty quick here, just rolling right into it, but let's listen to a metal song, man.
Dr. Thoss has a good backstory on this.
Okay. Oh, thank you. We were going to talk about this backstory because you sent me a bunch, and I was going through and just kind of listening to what were some of my favorite.
You picked a funny one.
And Dr. Thoss, what's the deal with this song, man?
So when I said I'll play a riff and I'll record it on voice memo.
Yeah.
So Phil Dubois, the drummer of. So sorry, let me give the backstory to this. So
yeah, you're good.
Full of Gin had, which means it's the blackest black, like Vanta Black, the synthetic that it sucks all the light out. Like you can't even see contours.
Yep.
So that started when Phil was just about to leave Revocation, and we saw each other, and I didn't know at the time, but he was like, yeah, you want to jam sometime? Right. And I go, yeah, sure. And I'm like, oh God, I gotta write some riffs or something. Yeah. And out of nowhere, I just improvised just this slop. I couldn't even, just absolute slop. Right. And then I, 2 days later, not thinking about that last riff, I recorded a second set of just slop. Okay. And I sent them both to him, and Phil texted me back going, this is amazing. Let's do this, on this day. And I go, okay. So I forgot about the riffs. And then I get to the practice space.
Yeah.
And Phil had a whole whiteboard, and he dissected my entire voice memo from both of them from start to finish.
Wow.
And he goes,
he was all about it.
Dude, this we're just going to do this exactly as you recorded it. And I just went, I don't remember what I played. So Phil had to teach me my riffs that I came up with. And
that's funny.
And that became Dr. Thoss.
Love it, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Pat is Pat. Pat, it just came out, baby. We can't we can't control this.
Oh, and Anthony, once we had the album pretty much done instrumentally. We still needed a vocalist and a bass player, and so Phil had the idea to bring Anthony out of retirement.
Okay.
And so we sent him the album, and he went, "This is amazing. I need to write for this." And so he's actually the vocalist on this.
Did anything happen with any of that music? Like, did you tour? Did you get some placements? Were you?
We did a small tour, and then COVID happened, and then
Gotcha.
things happened, and it just kind of stagnant. I mean, I'm still holding out hope that one day we can get it going again, because it's a good album,
Yeah.
you know. But you know, I'm going to be cautiously pessimistic about that one.
Man, as COVID killed many things, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, let's listen to it, man. This is your former, maybe future band as well. This is Fuligen, Dr. Thoss. Fuligen, where does Fuligen come from? What is that name?
The name was original. The band name was originally going to be Huff Pit, because after our first jam, just me and Phil, like that song, we went to this show at a warehouse in Allston, which is a college part of Boston, and it was a punk show, and you actually had like kids huffing out of a paper bag. I don't know if it was varnish or thinner or something.
Jeez, hardcore, dude.
in the pit. And I just said, we should call the band Huff Pit.
Huff Pit.
I feel like that would have been a better name, but you know,
That's actually pretty metal, dude.
that's a pretty metal name. Yeah.
That's sick. Yeah. Huff Pit, dude. Oh
what
my
great.
gosh.
Yeah. Maybe I'll use that name some other time.
So you guys are Canyon Lights. Let's bring it back to Canyon Lights.
Sure.
I want to talk about I just want to talk about your guys' future and what you guys are doing. You guys are releasing like crazy right now. Your most recent song, Behind Those Tears. It seems like you guys are doing a little bit of the waterfall method on Spotify, aren't you?
Yeah. We're self-releasing this, so you know, we decided that it's better to drop singles and generate buzz that way
Totally.
than a traditional label kind of throwing the whole album out and then doing promo for that. So
So how many more can we expect for this album?
I think it's just one other single, and then do the release date in late August and have a focus track for that.
Oh, okay, cool. So
yeah,
we're almost there.
We're almost there.
Nice, man.
Final stretch.
But there's been a whole string of releases through 2025, so everyone go check it out. But Song Behind Those Tears, man, it's a great song, actually. I was listening to it earlier this day.
Thank you.
Today. Can you talk to me a little bit about that song and what's the story behind that?
Tim and I had an interaction with a mutual acquaintance, and they were afterwards I kind of noticed that they were tearing up, and I just said, there's a song behind those tears. And we both went ding. And,
Wow.
you know, we started, Tim contributed a bunch of lyrics to that song too. We
This
actually,
is your drummer.
yes, we wrote the lyrics to this in Hendersonville at
nice.
at a motel.
Let's go.
When we were on an off day. So,
And does he contribute to the lyrics a lot then, or that's kind of a new thing?
yeah, it's about 50-50. You know, Tim
Oh, great.
Tim is a what's the term? Hidden gem, diamond in the rough. You know, I didn't know at the time. We were driving to a gig one time, and he goes, "Hey Pat, I just wanted to say I have some lyrics that I've never ever told anybody, right?" And I read them in the van, and I go, "What the fuck? This is amazing!" You know,
great.
I've never been like the greatest lyricist. Every now and then I have, you know, cool, you know, hooks and ideas, but I'm not like a wordsmith. I'm not like a poet.
Sure.
Tim is much more, and the John Prine, Jason Isbell, lyricist.
Which is funny. You don't really think about that when you think about drummers. You
Yeah.
don't think drummers are usually even contributing to a lot of the songwriting.
Never underestimate a good drummer, because
Yeah.
they have a good sense of rhythm. So hopefully, and then,
Yeah.
and that contributes a lot to lyricism. And,
Wow. And so when you guys are writing together, do you find that a lot of your writing is happening while you're on the road in motels, or do you guys take writing retreats and sit down? And how does the process look for you guys?
oh, it's any and all in
Really?
between. So the first time we started writing was late 2023, and I was heading out to him He lived in Springfield, Massachusetts at the time, and I had some riff ideas that I was trying to flesh out with him, and that became kind of the first bulk of the song. So yeah, we had a songwriting retreat or something like that.
Cool.
There's a song on the album called Late to the Ball that I tried rewriting, and I was stuck on this one particular part, and we did a Zoom session and did that. Song Behind Those Tears we had this original riff and it just wasn't working for the song, but the lyrics came together pretty quick. Him and me just bouncing ideas off of each other. And then we ended up writing the entire instrumental part in the studio in Denver when we recorded it.
My homeland.
Yes. I love Denver. So
where'd you guys record it out there then?
we were in the Color Red studio
Yeah, I know
at
Color
the time.
Red.
Yeah, we'd stay at the Color Red house a lot because Tim had a record out with them, so we had that connection. And we'd say, "Hey, we're in town on tour. Can we crash here?" And so
Great.
yeah. And then we ended up going to that studio to record the album. But yeah, Dylan Brown is a great guy, great friend, good engineer, good mixer.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows what to do. And we're gonna use them again and again, hopefully.
Yeah, awesome.
So yeah, Song Behind Those Tears we wrote in the studio. There's another track off the album called Blood Red Moon where we kind of had an idea of what we were doing, but it didn't quite work. And then I realized I could keep the melody the same, but drop the key down to another spot. And then we ended up finishing that in the studio.
Nice.
Codeine and Caffeine, that's a great story because
And a great title too.
Yeah. Well, we were home from the road. I was in Boston and Tim was in New Hampshire. And then I'm messing around with this melody by a guy named J.B. Lenore. He was a real innovative, unique blues sound. And so I was messing around with that melody, just kind of like, what can I come up with for that? And then I get this text from Tim and it's an entire song written out. And I go, this is great. I call him up and I go, dude, this is amazing. Like, do you have a melody for it?
Yeah.
And he goes, nah, man, I was just,
You're just writing words.
just getting my feelings out.
That's cool.
And I go, okay, cool. Yeah. Let me see what I can do. And then I hung up the phone. I'm not exaggerating. I went, wait a minute. And it actually fit perfectly with the melody that I was messing with.
Wow. You guys were on some wavelength, man.
And so I'm telling you, 15 minutes later, I sent the demo back to him. And then
Really?
he called me up and he went, what the fuck? That was quick.
Wow.
And then
dude.
and then the next day we recorded it at our friend Dave Brophy's studio.
No.
And then I made the album.
Those are the moments that make you feel like, man, I'm doing you're in the right place. Like you're right where you need to be.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I'm playing with the right people. I'm in the right moment in my career. I'm like this is it.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling, man. That's awesome. Dang. Well, let's listen to it. Let's listen to back to Song Behind Those Tears. I'd love to listen to it.
There we go.
With the listeners. And this is Canyon Lights, Song Behind Those Tears. What's the future hold, man? Are you guys touring this year? What's going on?
Yeah, we did our first tour with George Thorogood and the Destroyers back in February and March.
Wow.
And that's a whole other story too.
Yeah.
And we're going to do another one with him late August to late September.
Oh, great. All over the U.S., or what are you doing?
This time it's going to be Texas out to Florida, up the East Coast, and we end in the Hampton Ballroom Casino in New Hampshire. That's a pretty legendary venue for that area.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you played it before?
No.
Okay.
No, this is new.
Nice. It seems like this band is just hitting the ground running then.
Yeah, I don't think you can get a better start
Yeah.
to a band, in my opinion. But we'll see what the next couple of years holds.
I mean, since we've met, I've been following you on Instagram, and you guys are just playing huge rooms. I'm like,
Thank you.
How do I get to do that?
Yeah, well, you got to open for George Thorogood.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old
that's
band,
great.
the GA20 opened for him. We met on the Bonamassa cruise, and
okay.
I was like, I've never seen George Thorogood live. I should go see him. And so we go up to the deck, and he's playing, And this guy at the side of the stage turns around and he sees me. And he goes, "Are you in GA20?" And I thought I did something wrong. I was like, "What is going on?" And he goes, "George is a huge fan. He wants to meet you." And yeah. And so
that's how that happened.
Yeah, we got to talking. And so then GA20 ended up opening for George Thorogood. And I didn't know that George Thorogood likes to bring members of the opening band out to do the encore, and so I'm just backstage kind of bobbing my head, and he runs backstage because he does he steps off to do things, and he said, "Do you know the song?" And I go, "No." And he goes, "Don't ever say that." All right, tell you what, you learn it for tomorrow, and we'll put you on. And so I just was listening to the song a bunch, and then
Are you shaking in your boots, or you're doing okay?
Talk about anxiety attacks and imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I didn't learn to gain confidence. I just learned to resign myself to eventual, catastrophic failure.
Yeah.
And just see what happens. But, so I'm backstage at the last show that we did with him, and I'm not trying to avoid him, but I'm also not going to walk up and be like, put me in, coach, kind of
totally.
thing. But then he's looking around and he sees me.
Oh, he's
and
waiting.
He points to me, and the same guy that pointed at me the last time, he grabs me by the shoulder and is escorting me to the other side of the stage.
My
And
gosh.
Rev, George's guitar tech, just hands me one of George's guitars, and I play the song.
And it went off, I guess, right?
Yeah,
it
went
had to
off.
have gone well.
Well, I didn't know this at the time, so we were about to, we had just announced the band, barely off the ground. And I'm thinking I got to get some kind of tour together, what are we going to do? And so I just Hail Mary pass. I called George's guitar player, Jim Suler. I just said, "Hey, look, man, I know it's kind of weird, but I've got this new band. Would there be any chance that, we could open some shows for you?" And Jim goes, "Oh yeah, dude. No, we love you. Yeah, we'd love to do that."
Amazing.
Yeah. And so,
And that he loved you.
well, that's, yeah, don't get ahead of yourself.
So
That's
what that means.
Well, we drive, then, we're driving out, and the whole time I kind of felt did I weasel my way into this? Just being in the other band, am I kind of,
Sure.
do they think I'm going to pull a fast one on them or something? And, we get to load in, and we do sound check, and everyone's so nice, and they already know me on a first name basis, so it put smile on me. And then after sound check, George walks in, and I go "Oh, here it is." He's going to be "What the hell are you doing here?" Right. And his manager leans in and goes, "Hey, George, Pat's here."
Wow.
And
So he was waiting for you.
I was like, what is going on? And then I found out that after that show in the Keswick Theater, thinking of outside Philly, that I found out that I was his favorite guitar player to ever play that song with him on stage. And,
but
awesome. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had none. I knew that he put a photo on social media saying, we want to give a shout out to some of our favorite guitar players. And I was one of the photos, but I thought it was just the band. I didn't know that it was because of when I sat in with them. So that really I definitely eased me up on the tour.
Yeah, that means a lot, man. How cool.
It means a lot. I have a lot to thank him for.
Yeah, man. And just to think you probably were just thinking you're just some kid calling and asking for a favor, but the whole time he's waiting for you, man. And that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just smiling thinking about it.
Yeah, good for you, man. Good for you. Let's listen to this last song and and then we'll call it a day. This last one is Canyon Lights, Driving Me. That'll complete the record, and I'm excited for the record, man, to be complete. I'm excited for people to check it out, and for all your touring, more with George Thorogood coming out, and man, just what's ahead. So everyone go check out Canyon Lights. Anything else you'd like to promote about you or the band?
Tim is also in a great band called Parlor Greens.
Okay.
And our bassist Heather Gillis has her great band Wolf Twin.
Wolf Twin, love it.
Yeah, they're Nashville. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I've heard Wolf Twin.
yeah. They're a local band.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not just a local band, but
No, yeah.
yeah.
Yep, very cool. I mean, everyone's a local. You could say, freaking Dierks Bentley's a local band, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, well, what's his name? Dan Auerbach. He's a local musician.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, Pat, thanks so much for being on the podcast, man.
Seth, thanks for having me.
Yeah, really appreciate it, man. It was fun talking. That's all we got, folks. Thanks so much for listening to Pivot Points. You can listen to the Pivot Points Music Cast and more on the Fader app. My name's Seth Beamer, and I'll talk to you soon.